The Monte and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
World lost an icon recently, and he's our favorite wrestler. He's probably the biggest reason why we do the show in the first place. How are you coping with the loss of such a close friend? This wasn't an icon to you. This was so much more.
Oh, absolutely. He was like a brother to me. And, I think, guys, you learn. I lost my son July 16th of 2021, my oldest son. And, and then I lost my mother August 1st. You get used to, I don't want to say you get numb to it, because that would be totally wrong. I guess I have just learned to put my emotions away when I have to be professional. And like I stated at the beginning of the top of the show, so believe me, I'm hurting right now. Terry was not only a friend, a brother, he was an icon, as you mentioned, to so many people, and he had so much in the boiling pot right now. So much was coming up. He had the Hogan's beer, he had the restaurants, he had the amateur wrestling. He had hundreds of millions of dollars in a private fund, getting ready to, launch Hulk Hogan even bigger, if you can imagine that. So, or at least to take the name into many more places and capitalize off that. They just opened up a new store in Tennessee, merchandise store. There's which has been, they can't keep the stuff in. He was like the Elvis Presley, the GOAT. He was everything wrapped up into one. He was, to me, I think he was the most recognized person in the world. I don't care where you go. Been around the world, everybody knows Hulk Hogan. And he was a down-to-earth, good guy. He gets a lot of stones cast at him for no good reason. I mean, he's apologized. He apologized for a racial slur that happened one time, that if you never judge a man until you walk in his moccasins for 3 moons, as the old Indian proverb goes. And there was situations that the gentleman you're showing right now, Bubba the Love Sponge, he lived when Terry was at his, probably some of his most down time. I'm talking about down emotionally. He was living with Bubba for a few months. And I mean, I like Bubba, I like everybody to a point, but Bubba's a different guy. He's radical, and he's, I think it's kind of like the old scenario, bad company corrupts good character kind of thing. And, I don't like the fact that, Bubba was capitalizing off Terry's illnesses, what he was going through. And, just like Beefcake, who was throwing stones at him right and left, and then comes to the funeral. Like they never had a bad word. And anyway, I mean, I've known Terry for 51 years, since before the business. I used to sneak into the other place, this bar, watch him play in a group called Ruckus, in his high heels and Ruth's jewelry, his mother's jewelry. I watched him. He would sit in the same seat in the Armory, and we got to be friends at the Armory. Then we broke in together at his first match with me. We trained for months together in that dungeon. And you know, he was a lot tougher than people really give him credit for. He was a very intelligent guy, and he was smart and watching out for his position. And that's what you have to do in wrestling. There's people gunning for you all the time, and people stooging behind your back. It used to be a very, very, I don't know exactly the locker room, how the locker room is now, but back couple decades ago, there was a lot of animosity, a lot of jealousy, and a lot of backstabbing, a lot of stooging. So, you know, he fought for his position. And he was tailor made for it.
I love these points, Brian, because I think it was a different time, right? You had to work for your money, and the longer you could stay on top, you had to do what you had to do. I want to bring it back to Bubba, though. I wanted to ask you this question because, again, I'm not saying for you to talk bad about him, but I always wondered this. He recently has been cleansed of his sins, right? That I think Brooke Hogan went on a show to say, my father knew you had nothing to do with this tape. But I ask you, as a human being and his friend, if Bubba the Love Sponge was such a great friend to Hulk Hogan, why in the world would he ever keep that video, considering he saw his good friend have a really bad moment and he could have just gotten rid of it and no one would have known for the better?
You know, that's a great question, Monty. He Terry was a very trusting guy. You know, when you were in his circle of friends, he was very trusting, and he trusted Bubba. And I don't want to put Bubba down. I think he's got a very talented guy. He's got a lot of he's got a lot of good in him, but you know, at the same time, he's after that buck. You know, he's been through a lot financially because he was on top of the world, and then he wasn't. And he's on AM trying to get, you know, back on into a bigger platform, and for him to do it at Terry's expense didn't make me happy. That's for sure.
Well, I love the point that, you know, you're trying to give the guy his props, but on a personal level, I must tell you again, I wasn't friends with Hulk Hogan or Terry. I was a huge fan. You were very close to him, and I always felt that Terry's involvement with Bubba brought him to the level that he went to, and his sickness and then eventually his death brought him, you know, resurrected him yet again. I personally just don't see that as talent or being a friend. To me, it's a bit disgusting.
I found it to be quite cancerous, quite honestly, to Hogan's legacy. Brian, I wanted to ask